Drawing block elements. We would draw any block the way we normally would. We would draw it using our standard drafting practices. Now, if you were to use an annotative block, you would want to scale it up to the scale of the drawing. But since we haven't learned annotative objects, you're going to have to draw it manual scale. So the best thing is you just draw it full scale. If you want a door, it's 36 inches wide, you make it 36 inches wide, right? You want a 1 inch by 2 inch bolt, you make it a 1 inch by 2 inch bolt. Now when you're done drawing the object full scale or manual scale, we're going to have to determine the location of our insertion point. Our insertion point is a point on the object, the groupings of objects, in which we are going to grab a hold of it and use it for entering it in our drawing. So typically, when we look at a possible insertion point, we typically want to go at the center of an object or sometimes the lower left-hand corner. For example, if I was placing our electric range, I might want the midpoint of the back of the stove, and we'd place it up against the wall. The same thing with a sink, a kitchen sink. It'd be the midpoint on the back of the sink so I can place it up against a wall. Same thing with a toilet. It may be on the midpoint on the back side of the water closet. However, perhaps if it was a bolt, we might want it on the center of the bolt, maybe at the bolt head. If it was a door, perhaps we want it in the lower left-hand corner of the door. So we have a variety of things that we need to look at when we need to set our insertion point. Usually we want to go with some known point in which we're going to grab it or measure it by, such as our center, midpoints, lower left-hand corner. So drawing block elements, we draw them as we normally would, full size, full scale, and then we need to pick our best location for an insertion base point.